In this section, we're going to try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things that we recommend, and things to avoid. This time around, camping equipment. Not all of us are experienced campers, and the only time we'll go near a tent is at Download. But even if you are familiar with tents, a handy list of essentials is definitely a help. I mean, even us regulars with tents do forget things, and it's rather embarrassing when you get there and you find, where's my mallet? I can't put my tent pegs in, and you have to go and borrow one from one of your neighbours or something like that. So what do we need to take with us?
Well, I mean, for a whole week away, there is a big old list of things you should take. My number one thing, firstly, would be a wagon of some type or a trolley to be able to cart all your stuff from your car to the campsite. It makes life a hell of a lot easier. Yes, you need a backpack as well, but to carry all your non-essential camping equipment, your booze, etc., take a wagon. It will make life a little bit easier. Luckily, with the slight changes that going from car to camp isn't as far as it has been in the past, I'd still recommend getting a wagon. It will make things a hell of a lot easier.
Some people actually make their own wagon, don't they, to pull their equipment on? Or some people turn up with like one of those things that you might see in the back of a van, a delivery van, to move things around with. People are quite inventive with it, aren't they?
The best thing I've seen, actually, your old you great. So we have grey bins down here in the south, where in my area, the bin men come and collect every week.
Yeah.
Someone has actually emptied theirs out, washed it out, and put all the camping gear in that, and used that to drag your stuff into the campsite. I thought that was ingenious.
But I mean, yeah, I guess you would have had to. I mean, you can't fit a bin in your car, can you?
I don't think he came in a car. I think he came in like a big old pickup sort of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Because, that's a hefty old thing to be putting in the back of your car.
I mean, I don't fancy pulling that through the mud, though. Do you?
This person did not struggle. It was easy, but I mean, yeah. I suppose that's another thing with a wagon. Like you got to be careful. Obviously, weather-wise, if we are going to be tramping through mud, it can get stuck. And obviously, when it starts getting stuck and the wheels stop moving, that's when it starts to break.
Yeah, you see some people turn up with it's practically a tractor as a little pulley wagon with massive chunky wheels on it, big massive tyres, and it's full to the brim. You have to get quite inventive with how you pack your wagon, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the trolleys that we've both got, we bought from Costco, didn't we? And that does the job well enough, but yeah, I've always taken some some bungee cables, bungee ropes to make sure everything stays in place.
Essential.
Yeah, be careful with the way you pack it as well. Heavy stuff at the bottom and give yourself a low center of gravity so it doesn't topple over. I have seen people pile those things high, take a curb wrong, and it goes falling everywhere. So yeah.
Some people, what I've seen, which I think is a really good tip, is some people take a roll of, it's like clear, what do they call it? Like
the shrink
tape.
wrap.
And they wrap it. The wrap, once it's packed, when you get it all out of the car, you pack your wagon, then they wrap it all. So that if it does fall over, it's not going anywhere.
I've worked in places before where we used to pack stuff with it, and I've actually got a massive roll of it in my car. No, sorry, in my shed. But being an RIP, I won't need it this year.
No, not at all. No, exactly. You park up and you can literally just unpack and that's it. You don't even have to take everything out.
Nope.
Now, a tent is probably quite good camping equipment. Now, there are different kinds of tents. And, some people like a small tent, which I'm always fascinated by. How have you got enough room in there for a week with a single backpack and a tent for one? I'm fascinated by these people. How do you live? But some people go the opposite extreme. And
so I know why you're laughing. So the pilot, if anybody's seen the YouTube videos or Neil's YouTube videos, or anyone has obviously listened to the podcast in the past, so when we turned up at the pilot, I had a 4-man tent for myself. Call me selfish, I don't care. It would have been comfortable. But no, I didn't have any room to be able to pitch the tent, so I had to go and buy myself a 2-man pop-up, which was crap.
There's no fucking way that was a 2-man tent. I tell you now, I don't know why they put 2 man on such a small tent. How big is this man? How big are these 2 men?
I'm not being funny. I'm 5'11", but probably just about touching 6 foot, and my feet were hanging out.
Yeah,
I had to use the tarp that I bought. I had to use that over the top of my tent so my feet stayed dry overnight. That tent was tiny, and to be advertised as a 2-man tent by whatever company made that tent is scandalous.
It's shocking, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Even a 4-man tent. Really, that's a 1-man tent, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, for the way that I'm going to be pitching my tent, I've got myself a single airbed, and then enough stuff in the actual sort of sleeping area as sort of space for all my stuff.
Yeah,
and then it's got its own lot, sort of like living area for, obviously, if it is pissing with rain, we've got ourselves a little area where we can stay inside and stay dry. But yeah, I know the pop-up tents, if you want to, fine.
Do you know, I do not recommend it at all. Oh my God. My experience with pop-up tents has been awful. They've leaked. I mean, admittedly, these are cheap ones. They've been tiny. They've either been boiling hot or freezing cold.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, there's no thermostat in any tent ever to be able to control the temperature. Unfortunately, but a 2-layer tent. So 2-skin tent is definitely the way to go, because at least then you've got an extra layer that can try and protect you from elements. So that's tip number 1. Whatever tent you want to buy, make sure it is double skinned, because it will save you from any sort of rain, I suppose. On that note of rain, you'll probably find when looking at any sort of tent description, say, for example, 2000 HH. HH stands for your hydrostatic head, which basically means how waterproof the tent is. The higher the number, the more waterproof it's going to be. Basically, 2000 HH, I believe, is 2000 millimeters of rainfall that will not get into the tent. Anything above that, you're going to push it, and it's going to start leaking.
2000 millimeters.
Millimeters, so height.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right to me either, but it's the way it's millimeters. So if you were to basically put I don't know, a fucking measuring container out, and actually no, do you know what? I'm probably talking bollocks here.
Well, I don't really understand that. If it's 2000, what's 2000? It's 200 centimeters, which is what, 2 meters?
Yeah. Hold on just a second. Hydrostatic heads. You know what? This is fucking brilliant having the bloody internet.
Oh, the bloody internet. It's such a help. It's such a help for us all.
I was right. Millimeters. Okay, hydrostatic head is a way of measuring how waterproof a fabric is. The resulting measurement in millimeters relates to how high a column of water standing on the fabric would need to be before the water would penetrate the fabric.
Wow.
I was right.
So if
I'm a genius.
2 meters of rainfall, that's a proper piss down. That's 2016 sort of weather, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So if you'd had one of those in 2016, you would have been fine. Maybe, probably not. Okay, so that's worth remembering.
Yeah. So your hydrostatic head is basically how waterproof your tent is going to be.
Hydrostatic head playing on the 4th stage on the Friday. Sorry.
Insert laughter track.
Oh, fuck, I
No.
can't find it.
There you go. I'm your lucky track.
But the other thing about it is, if it's double skinned, if it's double skinned, if you shove things in your tent to the edge of the actual skin of the tent, it will let water in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it because in most tents, that second layer, that inside layer, isn't as waterproof as your outside layer. So if your outside layer is penetrated by some rain, I'm using the description from Google just then, using the word penetrated.
Yeah, right.
If rain does get through that first layer, it will definitely get into the second.
Yes.
So when placing your stuff in your tent, make sure it's not too close to the wall. So essentially you won't get leaked on.
Yeah, but do expect to see a few spiders. Nothing we can do about that. Are we bothered about how heavy the tent is?
Well, I mean, yes and no.
I mean, you're going to have to carry it from the car to the campsite, aren't you? So
Yes, I mean, I mean, it's maybe something to consider. You don't want an extra burden of weight on your either on your back or actually in your hand, because again, the bigger the tent, it's going to be more of a carrying thing in your hand than being able to sling it in your backpack or on your wagon. So yeah, I mean, weight of the tent where it's all packed up. Just consider that if it's too heavy, it's going to be a ball ache to carry.
here's something to consider. If you are going with a 4-man tent just for yourself, and let's say you're going on your own, you might struggle to put that up, because what you find is if it's a 4-man tent, it might take at least 2 people to put it up.
So my one, I actually have video evidence of that on my Instagram, that that it can be done. Yes, it may fall over a few times and you may look silly, but it can be done. I've done it with the tent that I've got, and I'll probably end up doing it myself when we go this year.
You love putting down flooring in your tent, don't you?
I did put flooring down in the or I felt as if I had to in the pop-up tent. However, I took flooring down with the intention of it going into the big tent, just to make it a bit more comfy to walk around the tent. Because you're not going to sleep with your shoes on.
Because
Well,
you were expecting
but-
to have a tent the size of a living room. But in the end, it ended up being the size of a cupboard.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if you'd had a full living room to walk around in. It's nice to have some flooring.
I actually used that flooring to sleep on, and it did not work. My hips were bruised after that Saturday night. On the Friday night, it was fine. I was too pissed to care. But on the Saturday, I was aching.
Oh, God. But what exactly was that flooring, if anybody wants to do that?
So you can get that basically in the amount of shops I've seen it in so many shops at the minute. Is all it is basically like almost like a foam puzzle that you basically put together, and it makes just like a little flooring area. Mine's all rainbow colours. No reason for it. It was just the first thing I saw and it looked pretty. I picked it up. But you can get plenty of. It's almost like gym matting that you can link together. It will just make the flooring in your tent just that bit more bearable, waking up and putting your feet on.
Is it expensive?
Can be. I always find something that's expensive is all down to the person that's buying it. Like, I mean, if it's expensive, then you shouldn't buy it. In all honesty,
What sort of range of price are we talking to buy some flooring for a tent?
if it's getting over 20 quid, don't bother. I reckon you're looking for something that's half decent, around a tenner for a good couple of square meters worth of flooring.
Well, that's not too bad, is it?
Yeah.
Now, you also like cupboards in your tent, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a sort of a fold-away storage unit where in the past I've put all my beer, toiletries and food and all that sort of thing.
Very organised.
Just to make the tent a bit more organised, a bit more tidy, instead of obviously walking and standing on everything and bursting crap. It just makes it feel a bit more. It's another comfort that's not a necessity. But I do it because it just makes me feel a bit better when I'm camping.
And we're not talking like sort of wooden IKEA style cupboards. We're talking foldable plastic ones, aren't we?
Yeah, so this particular one I got it from Decathlon, which I cannot recommend it anymore for camping gear. It's amazing quality, it's affordable, and I do believe they are currently doing their bank holiday sale on camping equipment, so check them out.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's basically like a fold away. It's almost a fold away sort of storage cupboard.
I was quite impressed when I saw it.
Yeah, it makes the inside of the tent just a bit more organised. So again, like I say, you're not standing on anything and making things burst.
Now, accessories such as pegs, guy ropes, they should hopefully be in your tent sort of bundle, along with a mallet. You'd be surprised how often I had to lend out my mallet at the pilot. It was quite a lot. A lot of people use my mallet.
Yeah, you almost didn't get that back, if I recall.
Yeah, exactly. It was very my mallet was very popular. You can get them from. To be honest, you can go in Tesco and pick up camping mallets or pegs or stuff. They're not, stuff like that's not difficult to find.
Tesco have got a decent range of camping gear at the minute as well. That's where we do our big shop. And I've noticed a few things dotted around as well. To be fair, another one, Audi have got tons of camping gear.
Oh God, Aldi, yes, of course.
Down their middle aisle. The tent that I lent you, Neil, at the pilot, which you still have, is an Audi tent, and it has worked perfectly for me for the last couple of years that I've had it. I assume it was good enough for you too.
Yes. Do you want it back, by the way? Are you bothered?
No, not really. You can keep it. It's yours.
Oh, fine. Okay. No, so sleeping is something we hope to achieve when we're at download overnight. Now, it's not necessarily going to happen depending on where you're camped. If you're quite keen on sleep, as I am, a pair of earplugs are absolutely essential. They're very cheap. I'm not sure, because I used to, so I'm going to admit something now. I sort of used to take an extra pair of earplugs when I was working at gigs, and I've got quite a stash of earplugs that will probably last me for the rest of my life. So I'm all right for earplugs. In fact, if you need any, come and find me, and I'll probably have. Do
you want me to make you feel a little bit better?
Go on.
I have a huge stash of them as well. From the places that I've worked, I've managed to pick up some earplugs along the way. I highly recommend them as well. Obviously, it's very difficult to fall asleep with tons of noise around you. It does block out that noise. Also, take them into the arena. Save your hearing for later on in life. I've known older people that's obviously gigged as much as we do, and their hearing has suffered in their mid to late 50s. So,
oh yeah, definitely. Tinnitus is now a thing. Definitely, coming out of gigs, especially in quick succession. If you go into quite a few gigs in a shorter space of time, your ears are ringing for a lot longer as you get older. Definitely, so protects your hearing.
After Envisions, my ears are ringing for 3 days, and that's no exaggeration. And and that's because I didn't wear earplugs.
Oh, didn't you? Oh, bloody hell!
No, I forgot mine. And I didn't bother thinking to ask the bar staff or anyone for a pair. And obviously being right at the front with all the speakers where it was lots of fun. Yeah, no, I had 3 days worth of that ringing noise in my ears. Was horrible.
Oh my God. So yeah, I know it's not a very rock and roll thing to say, but look at Ozzy Osbourne. He is deaf as a post.
He has COVID now too.
Has he? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
If what they call eye masks. Now, you can get quite nice eye masks, actually. And the reason I say eye masks is because the sun in the morning beaming through your tent can wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If it's not the airplanes, it's the sun or people shouting various catchphrases. I think it's worth thinking of. If you're a light sleeper, which I know a lot of people are, it's probably worth thinking about getting an eye mask as well, because obviously you don't want to be woken up first. If you're up late partying, you don't want to be woken up first thing by the sun. It's not pleasant because then you can't get back to sleep again, and then you're knackered for the rest of the day. So these are things that somebody my age might say. You know, look after your sleep. Get a good sleep. If you're younger, perhaps you don't give a toss, but it's so valuable. I love my sleep. It's so important, which is part of the reason why I'm going RIP this year.
Yeah, me going RIP this year with you probably could be the worst thing I do for considering when it comes to download, because I'm not going to want to camp in general camping ever again, and I have considered that if I can't afford RIP, doing quiet camp, but even then I think that might still be a bit much.
Yeah. So sleeping bags are important. I don't see. I can't fit into a sleeping bag particularly well because I'm a larger gentleman. So I'm a duvet kind of guy.
Oh, I take a full single bedspread with me as well. I've got a sleeping bag and it's fantastic, and I can fit into mine. Just
I can fit in. It's not comfortable though.
No, I know, but I take like a full bed. I take a bed sheet with me. Again, duvet, blanket, a couple of pillows. Gosh, you want to be after a full day of moshing and headbanging. You just want to lie down.
It's true, isn't it?
And just a nice lie down.
And in particular, if you have a nice, because this is the the direction I'm going in now. If you want comfort when you're in camp. You need an inflatable mattress from Fat Frank's. They're not even that expensive. They're like 10 or 15 quid, depending on what kind you get. And they even, I think if you've bought one previously, they can inflate it for you for a small fee or something like that, isn't it?
I find their advertisement for that quite disturbing and quite, it's flagrant false advertising. Simpsons reference. Basically, it's you'll find Fat Frank's just from the phrase free blowjobs. It's not what you think. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
It's not, again, like I said, it's false advertising, but they will blow your they will blow up your mattress for you.
Yeah. And honestly, it is one of the best things that you can get. You'll be so grateful for it. And then you can have, it's like a proper bed. You can get a double bed, you can get a double mattress and spread out, which is what I did. And it is, there's nothing like it. Especially if you've been to download before and you've had to sleep on a crappy thin, inch thick effort. And, there's no comparison really. There's no. I don't know how people manage it. I don't know how people can get a good night's sleep or any sleep on a thin, rolled up, crappy mattress. Yes, it's light. Yes, it's easy to transport. But can you sleep on it? Are you comfortable? No. So treat yourself and go to Fat Frank's and get yourself an airbed. And you can even get little pumps as well, can't you? Little electric pumps.
Yeah, I bring an electric pump with me every year just to literally plug it in and just let it go, just let it blow up my bed. My air mattress is quite a high one off the floor.
Oh God, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Another tip as well: if you're going for an air mattress, the higher you are off the floor, the warmer night's sleep you'll have, because obviously you're not close to the cold floor. Yeah. Which then, on another note, we talk about camping beds. They're great if they don't fold up and bend and break on you during the night, which happened to me in 2017. My first night on it was great, but then I think I got up, and when you first wake up, you sit on the edge of the bed, you give your eyes a rub and try and wake yourself up. No, the fucking the steel or whatever material it was just bent. Oh. And we ended up using it as a bench instead, didn't we?
See, I can't remember that. But I always...
2017, you were pissed the entire time I think we were in camp. It was quite remarkable, actually.
I enjoyed myself.
And as well, I've been rewatching the videos and seeing... I wonder if I could mention his name. Seeing Vince fall into the gazebo is just pure comedy gold. It was so funny. Bless his heart.
Yeah, go to Wilco Productions YouTube page to see my vlog for 2017. Yeah, it's worth a watch. My issue with camp beds is that it involves springs and it involves gaps, and I am so paranoid about any bits of random skin falling into springs or gaps and the most horrible pain in the middle of the night. I'm not going down that road. I don't want that. I would rather have an inflatable bed myself.
Yeah, no, totally agree. The only positive thing I could say about a camping bed, if it doesn't break, is you've got extra storage space underneath the bed. That is the only positive, because some of them, the one that I had was very weak and it broke. Like you say, gaps for obviously your skin and your body parts falling through it and getting caught and hurting yourself.
Even the thought of it just makes me wince.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even think camp beds are that comfortable.
It was all right.
It's not like an air mattress, though, is it?
A skin load of booze does help.
Yeah.
But no, nothing will beat an air mattress. And if you forget to bring one or you don't get one in time for the festival, Fat Frank's will sort you out with one, and they are it's value for money. It's very well priced as well.
Great bunch of lads.
They are indeed.
So when you're not going watching bands and when you're not asleep, you're going to want to sit around and drink. So you'll want a chair. So bring a chair. Again, a lot of the stuff that we're mentioning here you can get from Fat Frank's. They are very well stocked. So a camping chair. We use, I'm not sure where we are on this actually, but we usually bring a gazebo, don't we?
So personally this year, I don't think we'll need one.
You don't think?
We've got, so my tent, there's plenty of space in the tent that we can leave the door open and chill inside the tent or chill around it if it starts pissing with rain. So I don't think we'll need one. If you want to bring one, sweet, I'm all for it. I'm not going to say no. I don't think it's necessary for us in our situation.
Because I'm going to be in a camper van.
You are.
The thing to remember about gazebos is when it gets windy, they like to fly away on their own, and somebody else might enjoy it.
In 2016, I remember where we were camping in the corner of Blue Camp. We had one, the group that we were staying with, and I remember speaking to them on the last day. By the last day of the festival, it had flown away. So in 2017, we learnt our lesson, and we ended up taking half the gazebo down and having only enough space height-wise for sitting. Yeah. It was fun. It was cozy. It was really nice. But yeah, if you're going to take a gazebo, make sure you've planted it in the ground very deep and very, very fucking secure.
And I actually, one year in RIP, you were very good with telling people what year this happened or that happened. I can't fucking remember when these things happened. So there was one time when I was in RIP with my camper van and a gazebo, and day one, got the gazebo out, put it up, and it fucking broke. Day one. So that ended up in the bin. I think that, I don't fucking know when that was. But I think luckily it was a sunny year. So I didn't actually need it. The reason I'd even taken it was so I'd got somewhere dry, just a smallish patch of grass to take my shoes off and get sort of settled before going into the camper van, because it was my entire reason for taking a camper van was as a reaction to the rain in 2016. I just thought to myself, there's no way I'm going through that again. So I got a camper van. Bit of an extreme reaction, maybe. But it's download after all, and these things happen. So I wanted a nice little sort of area to take my wellies off and, get wet clothes off outside. Because it's not a massive camper van. It's literally, it's a little van, little tiny van. And not a lot of room for standing or anything.
Sorry, the way you've explained that, having your own little space to be able to and take your boots off, stuff like that. Yeah, bring one. Because I don't want you stripping in my tent. That'd be strange. No. Yeah, bring one because then you've got that extra comfort.
Yeah. However, when we went to the pilot, there were people putting up gazebos, even though there was no room for us or anybody else to actually camp.
So I enjoy watching the videos, obviously, that you've made in the past, but on that, when we've arrived in the camp and you see people's gazebo, it makes me so angry because we would have had so much space to set up tents if people hadn't put the gazebos up as early as they did. I think some people probably thought like it's just going to be the same as regular download where there's going to be loads of space.
Yeah.
Hey ho, it's gone, it's happened.
Yeah, I don't think we'll encounter that problem again because, I mean, who knows? We might do, but it was a very restricted space at the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we don't encounter that problem again. Now, Windbreak. Have we ever brought a Windbreak with us?
We haven't, but I've seen it been done. People will set their small tent up and put a windbreak around the entrance of their tent just so they can stand up and put their keks on. So they're not flashing their bits and pieces to everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then you've got yourself like, in a bigger space in RIP, you've got yourself almost like a little garden space where you can just sit down and chill out.
I like that.
Yeah, see? It's a good idea, definitely. No, we've never brought one. I don't think we've ever needed one, but I've seen it happen, and it is a good idea if you're happy to carry more stuff.
Probably a good idea to bring some lights with you as well. Again, you can get stuff like this from Tesco or from any supermarket, I suppose, that has a camping section. But there's some decent lanterns and lights out there that are quite cheap to bring with you. Now then, so once you're either asleep, which we've covered, you're either sitting, in your chair, having a chill and a drink. But what about when you're hungry? We've got quite a few items actually to get through here for dining. So we're going to have a quick rundown. Table. Now, did you bring a table with you at any point?
I had planned to for the pilot, but obviously we know what happened there and ended up going back to the car.
Oh.
I've got a table. I'm bringing my table to RIP this time. And I've taken it camping, the bloodstock in that as well. So it's definitely a useful bit of kit. If you haven't got a cup holder on your chair, it's nice place to just pop your pint. You
Eat your
play
breakfast
cards.
off it.
Or if you eat your breakfast off it, play cards on it. Obviously, if you're just chilling out in your tent or in the campsite, it's a useful bit of kit.
Is it light?
Yeah, it is light. It's very light. I got mine at Decathlon, and it weighs fuck all. Again, it's not an essential part of your camping equipment, but for those sort of home comforts, I definitely recommend one.
Now, you don't have to make any food at your tent. You don't have to make any food at all. You don't have to bring anything with you even, because obviously you can buy stuff there. It will cost you more to buy stuff from those food vans. But if you are planning on making a cup of tea for yourself or heating up a can of beans or whatever, you'll need camping pots, pans, saucepans, obviously knives, forks, stuff like that, dining equipment. Now, you can't take in particular, you can't take gas barbecues in or anything like that. It has to be those little, you can get this dry fuel, is it called a hexi stove?
It's called a hexi, yeah. So most popular one I've seen is they're incredibly small and they fold out to be able to take two of those almost like small, I'm going to call them tablets. They take two small tablets and they literally just light them up, and they'll last for a good 5-10 minutes before they burn out. Used them at Bloodstock, and the wife and I had I think on day one we had bacon sarnies for breakfast. I think we had ourselves some makeshift mac and cheese as well. Obviously boiled some water up, etc. Again, It's not essential because you can get food there, but it will cost a lot more than to bring your own stuff and cook up your own food.
And the thing to remember, if you are bringing food with you, is that it's going to go off.
Yeah,
like
so make sure whatever you bring, you eat.
Yeah. It won't last long at all. I mean, even the first day, if it's a hot day, meat isn't going to last, is it?
No, and that's where, again, either a cool bag or a cool box does come into it. But these are other items that are going to be quite bulky and quite heavy. But, I mean, again, used them last year to transfer all our food. Obviously, I don't eat meat, so I didn't have that issue. But obviously, keeping stuff cool, like food and stuff like that, it's definitely worth bringing something like that if you are intending to maybe save a little bit of cash and eat at your tent instead of eating at the vendors.
In fact, you've got a massive, great big. It's like a fridge on. It's like a fabric fridge, isn't it? That you've filled full of beer and food and pasties and God knows what.
Yeah, man, that's I've had that since 2017. It was a fucking godsend. Absolutely love it. Got it from Costco, and it has lasted. It's brilliant. The reason I bought it is because it boasted that it could keep all your beer and stuff, and it could even keep frozen food for a good few days.
Yeah.
And I just thought, that's brilliant. All I can do, I can put my pasties and my pastries and sort of stuff in it, and they'll defrost by like day 3, and then I've got some snacks for the before going into the arena.
That's genius. So did you actually have to put ice in it, or those little?
No, so you obviously ice packs to make sure it does stay cold, but it holds the temperature quite well.
So if that's an option for you, it's like a little shopping trolley, isn't it? With wheels on it or something like that.
Yep, it can be Velcro to its. So it came with like a trolley or something like that, and yeah.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with that when I saw that. And it's a good idea to take water containers with you because, unless you want to traipse up to the tap every time you want some water, take some, one of those water dispensers with you can fold them down. I've got one that folds down, so that's worth doing. Also, flasks. Do you want to take a flask with you?
I am. I'm. When you say like a flask, like do you mean like obviously like the soup thermal flask, that sort of thing?
Well, yeah, like a vacuum flask or a
Then no. Maybe I misinterpreted what they meant by the flask. I just assumed like a little bottle of water or something like that.
Well, I guess it's for like hot water for making tea and coffee and whatever.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, obviously you can ask the vendors as well to fill it up with some hot water, and then obviously it keeps the water hot as you're taking it back to your tent, I suppose.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone up to one of the food vans and said, "Hey, could you fill that up with some hot water for me, please?"
I'm not paying 50p for some dickhead to fucking fill my cup up with water. No, I won't be doing that. I'll be using the water that comes free out the tap, and I'll be using my barbecue and my kettle to heat up my own water.
Yes, you dickheads. You can keep your hot water.
Charging me for hot water. Fuck off.
So metal water bottles. I'm not sure what's meant by that in this list.
Those are the bottles that keep your water cold for a long period of time.
Oh, yes, I've seen those. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
They keep vodka in them as well, don't they?
that RIP one that you got a few years back.
That I kept Jack Daniels in. Oh, yes, very
there
good.
There you go. See,
same colour as tea.
Yep, see, it's not just a metal water bottle. It could be a metal Jack Daniels bottle.
Yeah, and now you are allowed those in, as it turns out, because it was a gift from RIP. And if you're struggling for getting going on your camping, perhaps you're new to camping, or perhaps you don't really want to get involved, you can turn up at Download, and there'll be a tent already set up for you, and that'll make things a lot easier. That's with Circular Camping.
Yeah, Circular Camping is new to the Download this year. Basically, they are upcycling tents and other camping equipment. So you'll have your tent, and it varies from a 2-person to a 4-person. They give you a chair, and I believe they give you a mattress as well to sleep on, and a sleeping bag.
See, that's really good, isn't it? I mean, that's all your problems solved, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, with it all being upcycled, which is technically second hand, it means that it's been recycled for you. So it's come from a place of it's been cleaned up and made ready for you to be used again. Because tents really are crap at being able to either be recycled or put in the bin. They're not very good sustainability wise. So yeah, this is a great idea, to be fair. Obviously, we know that Download does its ready to rock option as well every year, but this, I believe, is just that it's a little bit more. I think it's a little bit more affordable, and the intent behind it as well to upcycle old stuff as well is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. So as well as the main tent, which is upcycled, you get an upcycled camping chair, like you say. So it's been used before, but it's it's still good. It's just been left behind somewhere, hasn't it? A self-inflating mat, again upcycled. So that's good. But you do get a brand new sleeping bag, which I think is important. I mean,
yes, you don't want to be sleeping in somebody else's guff, I suppose. Yeah.
No, exactly. Someone else's farts. When you get there, you'll be shown to your clean tent, already pitched. See that takes away all the stress. For me, that takes away a lot of stress. Is pitching the tent, getting all the stuff ready to camp. But it's already there with no fuss.
Yeah, and you'll be able to locate that in Green Camp, which is next to the Eco Camp and next to the Quiet Camp as well.
So when it comes to Monday morning, and you're hanging out of yourself and you just want to go home, you don't have to bother taking a tent down, packing away all the the stuff that they've given you. I guess you'd want to take your sleeping bag with you, since you've paid for it and it's brand new. But yeah, you can just go then, can't you? And without having to worry about, because especially if it's been raining, I hate packing up a wet, muddy tent.
No, I agree. It was horrible. I'm so glad that actually the one good thing about the pilot was coming to pack up. It was just fold the tent away.
Yeah. So they've got a few options actually. They've got a one-person tent for hire, which is £95, 2-person £195, 3-person £295. There is also a storage tent there for £25. But when you look at how much you would spend on either buying a tent and equipment, or whatever, I just think it's so much less hassle to do this option. So that's an option for you there. Circularcamping.sumup.link is how I've found their website. I guess if you just search on Google for Circular Camping at Download, it would come up.
I believe as well it's in the dog blog on the main website as well under its own hyperlink, so it shouldn't be too hard to find on there as well.
So that's kind of it, isn't it, really? Unless you can think of anything else. But I think that's quite a comprehensive list of camping essentials. I mean, aside from things like toiletries and whatever, towel,
See, when I put this list together, I thought of literally just camping equipment, not like your toiletries that you'd pack for again. I mean, that will come at a later date, like a packing guide or something like that. But I honestly only thought of just camping equipment.
Yeah. Stuff while you're at your tent.
See.
So you can tell us your do's and don'ts. Tell us about something that we've missed, or just give us your opinion. Just send us a message through the socials or at festpod.co.uk. Just click on message. You can also now find us on YouTube, so feel free to leave a comment down below.